Good morning and happy Sunday. I decided that to avoid like switching all the time, and I just feel like things have been coming up for me on Saturday mornings for some reason, that we would consistently do Sunday mornings. So there'd be no second guessing, no questioning. You just always know Sunday, I will come here. There's no conflict, no changing, nothing like that. So, obviously I record all of these and I put them on the YouTube channel that I have. So if you can attend, they're always available. But today specifically, I'm going to give you some content prompts that you can use to get some ideas. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And then we're going to go into planning our week as we usually do. So Monday through Saturday, Facebook, Instagram, and stories. And you can also utilize some of the reels that we talk about and re-implement them onto TikTok, because same kind of video platform. And you can also use those reels for Facebook reels as well, if you have that capability. But I wanted to give some content prompts to help with when you feel like you're stuck and you're just like, how do I talk about something that's related to my niche? I don't have any ideas. I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. So these will give you a full week of content prompts that you can utilize. So the first batch of them is regarding education. So educating around your specific niche. And the first one is, what's the most important step someone can do every day as it relates to your niche? So I'll just use myself, for example, in all of these, but please just transpose your specific niche into that. So what's the most important step someone can do every day? Like for me, in my situation, it's planning out my day and understanding when I'm going to be able to work out and what meals I'm having for the day. So that would be something that I could use in that place. So what's the most important step someone can do every day that relates to your niche? Number 2 is your top tip for making a pain point easier today, and make it simple plus an action. So pain points for people are anything that's like they're struggling with saving time, saving money, peace of mind, overcoming any sort of obstacle. So like a pain point tip for somebody in the weight loss would be like consistency. So how can I help somebody with consistency in their weight loss that's simple and that has action? I'll use another example. So like, let's just say, because I see Sarah's on, let's just say somebody has kids that are busy and in a hectic schedule. What's a pain point for them is maybe like creating meals for the week or creating a schedule. So like, what's your one tip that you can give that's going to help with that specific pain point of having a chaotic schedule? Is it writing everything down? Is it having like a planner for your dates and a planner for your meals, that sort of thing? So something that's simple, and then an action that they can do. Number 3, what's a tip or trick that you wish you knew sooner? So something that would have helped you sooner if you knew that. So everybody has that situation. So like, let's say your thing is homeschooling. What's something that you knew before when you first started to homeschool your kids? Or like, if you're in a weight loss space, what is a tip that you wish you knew about weight loss way before you started your journey? Or if it's, I'm just trying to think of different ideas. Like, let's say you do keto, like what's something wish you knew about keto? If it's, you have kids in multiple sports, what's something that you wish you knew before your kids ever entered into sports? That sort of thing. So one tip or trick that you wish you knew sooner. The next bundle is going to be shareable content. So things that other people will share. The first one is a funny reel about a common problem that people might have in your niche. So this can be any number of things. Like if you're homeschooling, for example, that your kids really struggle with paying attention or something like that. Or if you're in weight loss, it's like you create all your meals and then your husband, and you track everything and you know exactly the measurements, and then your husband takes a big bite out of your meal. Like whatever, anything that's funny and relatable and a common problem that's related to your niche would be shareable. So making a reel about that. The second one is a checklist for solving a common problem. So like a common problem, I'll just use myself as an example again, for weight loss, is that what's a checklist that I could have? It's getting up in the morning, making sure that I'm getting a big dose of water in right away, and then packing up all my snacks for the day and putting my workout clothes out. So when I get home from work, that I will make sure that I can do it. So like that, having that as like a checklist that you could post. So those two shareable ones. The next group is inspirational content prompts. So the first one is, what's one lesson you learned that changed the game for you? So something that you learned throughout your challenges, your problem solving, whatever, that completely opened your eyes and changed things for you and allowed things to either click or become easier or something along those lines. Number two is an inspirational quote that you can tweak yourself. So I think so often we want to take like these quotes and just share them, but what's a way that you can tweak it to make it kind of your own? So hopping on Pinterest, searching some quotes related to a specific topic, and then taking it and just changing it up a little bit, recreating it on Canva or some similar like Word app, and then sharing that. So then other people will share that content. Number three would be a realistic roadmap for reaching a goal. So maybe your goal is financial. Maybe your goal is physical. Maybe it's whatever that might be. Just like setting a realistic timeline of what that looks like, or a roadmap, like how that looks like. So I think as it relates to weight loss, because that's mine and that's what I talk about often, is people think that it's like this straight down easy road, but creating a realistic roadmap that sometimes you will go down for a while, you'll come back up, you'll go back down. That's just an example that I have to give. So some sort of roadmap for reaching a goal. I'm going to go through all of those one more time slowly so that you can, it's for those of you that are just tuning into, these are content prompts that you can use for your social media in different subcategories. So the first one is education. Number one would be, what's the most important step someone can do every day that relates to your niche? Number two is your top tip for making a pain point easier today. That's simple and you can provide an action. Number three, what tip or trick do you wish that you knew sooner? And like, you can either repurpose any of these things for reels or just a post or something in a story. Next subcategory is shareable content prompts. So one would be a funny reel about a common problem. And number two would be a checklist for solving a common problem. The third subcategory is inspirational. The first one is, what's one lesson you learned that changed the game for you? Number two is an inspirational quote that you can tweak to fit your specific story. Number three is a realistic roadmap for reaching a goal. And the reason that talking about problems is so important is because that's what people are looking to solve. The more that you can talk about the pain points and problems that people are having and how to overcome that, the more engagement you'll get with your business, the more that will convert into sales because you're addressing an issue that they currently have. And I think so often we want to talk about benefits, like focus or energy or weight loss or appetite control, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not addressing those specific pain points that people are having, you're going to miss the mark, because the people that are sitting on the other side of the screen, they're currently super tired. So if you're just talking about energy all day long, they're like, cool, but I'm really tired. So you got to talk about the pain point that they're specifically having at this point in time. So if you're wanting to talk about energy, make sure that you're addressing the pain point of somebody being tired. If you want to talk about weight loss, make sure that you're addressing the pain point of like the struggle of not having your clothes fit, or the struggle of wearing sweatshirts in the summer or something like that. If your pain point is appetite control, talk about, or your benefit is appetite control. The pain point would be like uncontrollable snacking or constantly eating off your kids' plates or something like that. So making sure that we're addressing the problem as much as possible so that it's relatable to the person that's viewing your content And it's not just all benefits based. So a funny story is that I used to work for Wells Fargo, and they had a lot of like sales training, obviously. And they would say, like, you can't even bring up a benefit unless you know what the problem is that people are having. So you can't say like, oh, I'm going to help you save money if you don't know that's important to the person. So constantly running through those lists of problems that people have, so then you're able to identify or present the solution that you have. If you're not talking about the problems, the solution isn't going to mean anything. So you can say like, look at all the paychecks I get, and look at all the energy I have and all that. Sure, it might intrigue somebody, but what hits it home more for somebody when you're talking about like, I get a paycheck every week, or talking about like, listen, I know it's hard to put gas in right now. I know it's hard to go to the grocery store and spend double what you were. The solution would be the paychecks every single week. Or on the other hand, like I know it's really hard to get up in the morning on a Monday after you had a busy weekend with your kids and trying to get them off to do whatever. The solution is having energy with capsules right away in the morning. So I hope you can see that kind of dichotomy there. So now we're going to go into planning our week. Right on track. Monday for Facebook, I have, how are Mondays different from you? Again, addressing that problem that you used to have with your Mondays. So maybe it was like you would hit the snooze too many times, or you would drink a whole pot of coffee before you even felt alive. Make sure that you're addressing that problem, and then compare it to what it looks like now, that you're up at 4:30, 5:30, whatever, going for a walk, or that you're up before your children so that you can spend time reading a book or getting yourself ready or spending time with yourself or whatever. Like, how do your Mondays look different? Make sure you're showing the problem you used to have and comparing that to what it looks like now. Instagram, I have a quote, so you can use that inspirational quote that I talked about in the content prompts and put that on your Instagram. And Brock Johnson, I talk about him a lot because he is our like social media liaison person that is contracted through Lavelle. And so like, I obviously have consumed his content for a long period of time. I think he has really good tips and tricks. And he was talking about like, sure, Reels is the way that you're going to grow a lot. And it's good for you to continually create Reels because that's how you're going to bring more people to your page. And that's where it's at. Like, video is where it's at, but you still need to make sure you're sprinkling in these other types of content to provide value to your audience, because there are people that maybe sometimes they don't want to watch a video. They just want to read something. And I can relate to that because sometimes I just want to go swipe through things and read things that are tangible that I can read right now, instead of having to hit pause and then read and then pause and read and pause and read. So make sure you're sprinkling in that other content as well. Stories, I have capsule tag. Again, if you're creating a capsule post in your stories, make sure that you're talking about a problem. So is it that sometimes I write like, if you struggle with getting up in the mornings, that's actually what I posted this morning. This is what you need in your life, or something like that. Like, this will help you with that. Talk about the problem. And then tag some other people, and then other people will tag you, and then share it, vice versa. It just shows that other people are utilizing the product, kind of like a validation that it's not just you. Tuesday, Facebook, I have something the business has helped you with financially. So whether that is it, maybe you haven't received a bunch of paychecks yet. And because I like to address this because I know that sometimes people are new, or maybe they're in a point in their business where they're not receiving paychecks every single week. I think it's important to still talk about that aspect, but how do you do so? Would be, has it allowed you to think differently about your finances? Maybe it allowed you to like dream about what you're wanting to do with your finances, or to plan better, or to prioritize better, or something like that. So something the business has helped you with financially for Facebook on Tuesday. Instagram reel, I have an interesting fact. So like a fun fact about your niche, put it into a reel, use a trending sound, whatever you prefer to do. Stories, I have weekly pay and reference the cost of things right now, because again, we're wanting to address that pain point. So you can do this in like an unfold, where in the beginning you can address the elephant in the room. I think it's very important that you do that. People are struggling to put gas in their tanks or getting groceries, or maybe even if they aren't doing those things, like just having the ability to like be prepared for things, or not be caught off guard, or emergencies, or even just to be able to buy yourself things. So like talk about that first, and then talk about how weekly paychecks would help with that. Wednesday, Facebook, I have speak on a specific problem. So I just gave you a gamut of how you can speak on a bunch of different problems: weight, appetite, focus. So like you can talk about the benefit of focus, but what's the problem that people have when they can't focus? Is it that you feel like you're nodding off in the middle of the day? Do you feel like it's really hard for you to pay attention to things? And then bring in the benefit that Thrive provides with that. Instagram, I have reels again, and teach something. Stories, I have testimonials. So testimonials can look a few different ways. It can be that you are pulling a couple different before and afters from other people. It can be that you're pulling up specific messages that you've received, and utilizing those as testimonials. But it's important for you to have like the proof behind what you're saying. You know what I mean? More than just yourself. People need sometimes social proof from other people besides just you. Thursday, Facebook, I have Thankful Thursday. So something that you're really thankful for, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be incorporated with Thrive. It can be anything, or you can do a Throwback Thursday if you want. Instagram, I have a carousel. And again, because it's important to sprinkle those little items in. So a carousel can be like, the other day I posted ways to know that you might have a food addiction. And then I just scrolled through, like, Google these things. Sometimes I just Google things, and I will take like somebody else's pre-made 10 steps and then just kind of tweak how it sounds, so that sounds like me, or put in my own personal experience, and then do like 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9 on different carousels. Stories, I have highlight your workspace or where you're currently working from on your business, and then talk about the freedom of working from wherever. So how would you show a pain problem is not having to actually physically go to a job to earn extra income, versus being able to do this from wherever you are. Friday, I feel like I'm going super fast. I have speak on a specific problem that's related to the business. So you can take what you utilized in the stories earlier in the week and repurpose that into a post, because like, why? Let's work smarter, not harder, right? So talking about what are specific problems that people are having right now. Are they struggling with putting gas in their car? Are they struggling with just wanting to like live outside of their 4 walls a little bit more? Are they struggling with being prepared for emergencies? Are they struggling with putting food on the table or something along those lines? So speak on a specific problem and then address the solution that the business is going to provide to that. Instagram, I have reel again with a trend. So some sort of trend that's going on. You can just scroll reels for 5 minutes and you can see where there's a trend, because usually it'll repopulate every so often within that 5 minutes that you're even scrolling. So utilizing the trend and tweaking it to fit your niche. Stories, I have sample packing. So talking about samples, again, you've spent this entire previous part of the week talking about problem, solution. And then when you're talking about samples, that's inviting them in to be able to purchase the solution, right? So talk about how you're packing up a sample, or you can say what's included in a sample. Again, if you don't have product on hand, enough product to send out samples, there is somebody in your upline that will send out a sample for you. Saturday for Facebook, I have what has Thrive given you mentally? So I think so often we focus on like the physical before and after pictures or something like that, but sometimes people might not even need the physical transformation, but they need the mental transformation. So maybe it's Thrive has given you the ability to actually work on yourself because the business has done that, or you're able to focus more and pay more attention and have more time with your kids, and that mentally makes you happy, but also your kids happy. So whatever Thrive has given you mentally that you can't see physically. Instagram, I have another quote, and you can do this as like a tweet style maybe. So like something that looks like a tweet. Again, utilize Canva. Hold on one second. Utilize Canva. They have lots and lots of templates that you can use. If you just type in tweet, I'm sure you could find it. And I don't pay for my Canva. It's completely free. And then taking that quote and repurposing it into looking like a tweet or your own sort of quote that you want. Stories, I have walking through all 3 steps, because on Saturdays, we typically have a little extra time, maybe if you're not working, but even if you're working, you can still take the minute in 4 slides, because they're each 15 seconds long, to explain the 3 steps in a relatable manner. So if you can, talk about the problem and how that specific step solves it. So it's like, if you're tired right away when you wake up in the morning, these are what you need. This is the first step that will wake you up right away. If you struggle with like your digestive system and being regular or something like that, this has pro and prebiotics. This is the second step. If you struggle with maintaining energy all day long, like you're dragging in the middle of the day, you feel like you're falling asleep at your desk, or you just don't have enough energy for your kids at the end of the day, this is where the third step comes in. This is a patch that helps with mood control along all day, time release, energy, appetite control. Like that was less than a minute. You can do it super fast. If you need to like write it down and just practice it or something like that, you can do that as well. But as much as you can make it relatable, instead of just being like, these are the capsules, what I take first thing in the morning. Here's the shake that I mix up. It tastes really good. And then here's my patch. My patch is somewhere where I'm not gonna like pull up my shirt and show you. And this is my patch, and it helps me with all day energy. No, like break it down so the people that are on the other side can relate to it and why they would need that thing. And it shouldn't take you more than 4 slides to explain it. If it does, you're losing their attention. That's all I'm going to say. And you're probably over explaining. So, have you ever heard of the term KISS? Like keep it simple, stupid, or stupid simple, like whatever you want to say, if you don't want to call people names. But just keep it as simple as you can. Make it as relatable as you can. And then I really wanted to try this week to highlight the fact that we need to make sure that we're talking about the problems that we're solving on a consistent basis, not just talking about benefits all the time, because that is what's going to really bring people into the business, into utilizing the product and understanding how this is going to be a solution for them. If you're just constantly talking about benefits all the time and what you're getting and what you have and all those things, your business is only about you. You're not actually out here to serve other people. And when you start focusing on service of other people, that's when your business will expand. And I think that's somewhere that I've kind of had a downfall in the past, or feel like I'm struggling, where I feel like I'm just talking about myself all the time and what I'm personally gaining, and you feel selfish and you feel like icky talking about it. But when you realize that this is a legitimate solution for people, and you focus just on those problems that people are having and how this will solve them for them, it just flows so much more naturally, and you just feel so much better about what you're doing and your purpose and your mission with your business and what you're trying to do. So that's what my goal was with this week. And I did all of it in 30 minutes. So I am going to hang out in my office so I can make sure that I get this up right away. Again, I tweaked the schedule, so it's always going to be on Sundays. I know that I was doing back and forths for a while there, but I think that it's just important to maintain a consistent schedule for everybody so they're not constantly questioning. And yeah, so we're going to be Sundays strictly from now on going forward, always and forever. Amen. So hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope this was beneficial for you. Feel free to check out my YouTube in a little bit for the link, so you can share this with other people that are on your team or whatever. And have a good Sunday and a good start to your week.